What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video, and today it is time that we do a deep dive / post-mortem video of Super Tuesday 4. Now, unlike other Super Tuesdays or election nights, this was kind of a mixed bag. This wasn't a great election night. At the same time, it wasn't a bad one. It was kind of in the middle. Kind of depends what state you were in, because a couple of states, boy, you should secede from the Union. Other ones, though, hey, you looked good. So we're going to do a deep dive into the races because there were some good, some bad, kind of in the middle. Now, before I forget, of course, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And, yeah. Also, before I forget, after we talk about the post-mortem stuff, I wanted to discuss something about this channel, because we're heading to a very slow month, and I just wanted your guys' input on something. But enough of that, folks. Let's get into it. So, several states had a primary yesterday. That's why we called it Super Tuesday 4. And let's start in Colorado, because there were actually some positive developments that happened in Colorado. The first one, of course, is the Senate race. This is a race I'm not really discussing, though this was a positive thing that happened. So Ron Hanks, I think's better on the issues. Yes. However, Joe Adia, hope I'm saying that name correctly, Adia, that's probably right. He is the better candidate for Colorado, and still conservative enough. It's like, okay, he's going to be kind of similar to Cory Gardner. Maybe not as based, but still a good enough candidate that can win in Colorado. He won the nomination. Now, again, Ron Hanks is, my opinion, a bit better on the issues, but, you know, it's, yeah, I think he may be a bit too right-wing to win Colorado, because Colorado, boy, what has happened to that state? It's depressing. But overall, Republicans got, in my opinion, the best candidate for the Senate race if they actually want to win. And again, Dia's not going to be like a Paul Gosar type, but he's going to be a good enough senator where it's like, okay, we're going to replace Michael Bennet, or hopefully we can replace him. This may be a chance to get rid of this guy. I mean, he usually underperforms Democrats nationwide. It's a red wave year, and Republicans have a strong candidate. It's overall a pretty good scenario. So Republicans could win this race. Now, for the congressional race, of course, Boebert won. Not a surprise, but by a convincing margin. Not by 2 points. It was by 31 points. This was one of the rare times last night where the high turnout probably benefited a candidate, right? One of the good candidates. Now, again, I think Boebert's a bit overrated, but overall, she is still good on the issues, and well, she did pretty good last night. I mean, I was expecting her to get the high 50s. I was not expecting her to get to 65%. So it was a good night overall in Colorado. There were a couple other races like House District 8, which was kind of a, you know, meh. I wanted Lori Sane. She appeared to be the best on the issues, but it is what it is. I mean, it's one bad race that didn't go our way. But overall, Colorado, kind of a W. I mean, surprisingly, it was actually a good night for Republicans in Colorado. Turnout was pretty good. And I know that it was because uncontested races, but still, Colorado's one of those states that you're not supposed to have, you know, even that close of a turnout edge at all, especially for Republicans. But it is a good night overall for Republicans in the state of Colorado. Hopefully this translates to us possibly pulling it off this fall of winning the Senate race. Will it happen? I don't know. I really do not know. But yeah, so for now, folks, Colorado actually looked pretty good. Now, Illinois. This was the stunner for the night, in my opinion, all right? Not because Bailey won. That was obvious Bailey was going to win. But by the margin he won. Holy crap. He got 57.7% of the vote. You know what this means. He has the Trump base locked up 100%. But look in the Chicago area. Look at this. He did phenomenal. Will County, DuPage County, Kane County, etc. These are counties up here that I expected Bailey to struggle in. Sure, he did a bit worse in Cook County than statewide, but he still almost got 50% of the vote here. That means Bailey has essentially united all parts of the Republican Party. He has the more moderate, suburbanite Republican voter. At the same time, he appears to have locked up the rural Trump voter. It is a good sign the Republicans have a shot. And well, this may be Mastriano 2.0. Bailey is unelectable, so Democrats spent millions upon millions of dollars into getting him the win. And well, sure, Democrats can end up with a turnout edge, but the fact that it's nearly 50-50 for turnout, I would be a bit worried if I was the prick, because that's not supposed to happen in Illinois whatsoever. So it's a good night because Bailey may be the Mastriano of Illinois. Like, he's too far right to win. Then suddenly he picks up in the polls. He starts doing good. He starts to have a good campaign messaging. There's a chance he could win if he's already united the base. Now again, with Bailey, you have to do what Mastriano's doing. Focus on inflation. Focus on all that stuff. You can't focus on being a MAGA hardcore Republican. You have to focus on issues that matter and attack the prick for his bad record. But yeah. Also for the congressional races, we had a W. Of course, the one, the only Mary Miller obliterated Rhino Rodney Davis. A Rhino incumbent. Bye-bye. Get out of here. And boy, was this not close. I mean, Miller won by 15. This was an absolute shellacking against Rodney Davis. And while it does point to, Trump's endorsement still has a lot of weight to it. We can obviously see that. It just matters of circumstance, who the candidate is, etc. I mean, she won by 15 against an incumbent. I know it's an incumbent versus an incumbent, but Miller even won most of Davis's old district. This was a shellacking. So that's a good sign that, hey, Republican voters are starting to slowly wake up. But there's one other race that really was a disappointment last night. We'll get to that in a minute. But for now, Illinois, kind of a good night. Turnout was good. The good candidates won. All that stuff. New York. This is one of those races, it's kind of an L. This is kind of a I would say an L, more of a semi-W. Why? Sure, the correct candidate won, the one that actually has a chance. The problem? Turnout was garbage. I mean, look at this. Democrats are beating Republicans in turnout by 2 times, or I should say by 400,000 votes. That's not good. Now, there is hope that, well, maybe it's because, votes are outstanding, but it's like, okay, that's not good either way. So that's the problem with this race. Zeldin won, but the turnout was pretty bad. Like, this is one of the first primaries all year that Republican turnout was way under expectations, not over expectations. While Democrats kind of the opposite. So, hopefully, Zeldin can win this fall. I don't know. If turnout's this bad into the New York primary, again, it could just be because, it's a primary. But we just gotta see. Now, we had a race in Oklahoma. And, the special election went exactly how we expected it. Mullen was going to be at 40 to 44%, and, well, he got 43.5%. Shannon took second. He's the only one, all right, Shannon is, to potentially beat Mullen. He has a shot. Now, the question is this. How will the other candidates endorse? I hope they all go behind Shannon, because Shannon is better on the issues than Mullen. Again, though, Mullen's not terrible. Kind of just a mediocre, representative to become a mediocre senator. So it's not terrible, but it's kind of a disappointment. So hopefully Shannon can win the runoff again. It's not much of a surprise. I mean, Mullen had way higher name recognition and just overall higher advantage. Now, the Senate race, just like how I said flat out Lankford was either get 65% of the vote or 45% of the vote. I said 55%, But when you read what I said carefully, he was either going to do 10 points better than I thought or 10 points worse than I thought. Well, he did 10 points better than we thought. He got essentially 68% of the vote. But overall, this was, in my opinion, kind of a good thing. I mean, Langford underperformed. You know, people like Thune, the loser Thune. And it was good that Lehmeyer got around 26.5%. I mean, he essentially had no campaign for the first part of the campaign. He started to pick up steam. And I do think the scandal was a bit too late. I mean, you saw the election day votes start to come in. Well, you saw it happen, and Lehmeyer started to pick up steam with the election day votes. So it really makes you wonder, if the scandal hit a couple weeks prior, would Langford have lost? I don't know. But this kind of is a W because Langford underperformed the polls a little bit. And I do think that the scandal hit a couple weeks prior, he may have been forced into a runoff. But Lehmeyer, it appears he's going to be running for something in the future. Hopefully he does. I just think that he picked up steam a bit too late. Hopefully he runs again. We just got to see. For the governorship, I don't care. For the governorship, Stit 1. Whoopie-doo. Now, for House District 2, this deserves its own video. I don't know what happened here. This may be the most chaotic primary I have seen this cycle so far. Like, just look at this. Why? Just why? But yeah, that's kind of that for Oklahoma. This kind of deserves its own video. It's such a shit show. But yeah, now we get to the one state that in my opinion had one big fat L last night. Utah. What the fuck is wrong with the Utah GOP? I am getting so sick and tired of the Utah GOP existing. At this point, if it flips in the future, I don't feel bad. Sacrifice Utah for Nevada. What is wrong with some of these voters in Utah is beyond me. Now look, of course, Mike Lee did phenomenal in places like San Juan County, Iron County, Beaver County, etc. But that's not the issue. Salt Lake. What is wrong with some of these voters? I don't know. Mike Lee is phenomenal on the issues. Yet these clowns in the Salt Lake area, the Republican establishment, they all flooded towards Becky Edwards, who, in my opinion, may be worse than Mitt Romney. Go look at what she said about Roe versus Wade being overturned. It's damning. I mean, she essentially said, that's not a good ruling. She is garbage, and she got 30% of the vote here with the establishment support. Mike Lee, I am thankful that you won because he's the only bright spot in the Utah GOP. Look, it's pathetic that Mike Lee had a serious primary challenger and some morons seriously supported that challenger. Yet we have garbage Republicans. Go down here to District 1. You have Blake Moore, who has a horrendous voting record. The smooth brains in Salt Lake City. They love him. And, well, they essentially control the state. GOP. That's what happened. I am getting so sick and tired of these voters in Utah. They keep voting the shittiest possible Republicans. At least South Carolina has good ones. Utah has at best an average representative and an above average senator. South Carolina at least has good representatives. Sure, they have trash senators, but at least they have something positive. There's nothing positive with what happened here last night. Again, the fact that James Langford did better than Mike Lee shows you what's wrong with the GOP right now. And this showed up a little bit in Mississippi. Ezell won, not by as much as everybody wanted him to. What happened was Steve Scalise, the loser Rhino leadership, they supported Palazzo in droves. They sent a bunch of money here. Luckily, Ezell won. I am thankful. This guy's going to be a Freedom Caucus warrior. Is he going to be a top 10 representative? I don't know. For sure, he's a massive upgrade over this loser. But that's not what I'm mad about the most. Alright? That's not all. Right here, District 3, Michael Guest. Do I gotta say anything? I'm not gonna say anything. You can see what I mean. What is wrong with the establishment? They sent $500,000 to you to screw over Cassidy. That's all I gotta say. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And yeah, also for the quick thing, the next month can be kind of slow. If you have any video suggestions I should do, comment down below, and I may do it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.